I neglected to say earlier that this is the last opportunity for these youngsters to sing in the services this year. And so we are grateful for the little voices who have matriculated to this group. We're grateful for the 6th graders who have augmented this group, and we're grateful for the 4th and 5th graders who make up this group. We also want to thank Susan Easterly for her participation. So for all of that,
Good morning. I'm Norman Allen, your intern minister, and I want to welcome you to Cedar Lane Unitarian Universalist Church, a liberal religious community where love works, where we gather to explore the eternal, to nurture community, and to build a more just world. Whoever you are, whomever you love, wherever you are from, whatever your beliefs or life circumstances, you are welcome here. A special welcome to those joining our service online, whether in the moment or catching up with us later. We're glad to have you with us. If you are new to Cedar Lane, we have a small gift prepared for you. Please raise your hand and keep it raised for a moment or two so the ushers can find you and share that with you. All are invited to stick around after the service to enjoy coffee and conversation. If you are a visitor, we invite you to choose a yellow coffee mug. That way our members, our friends will be able to greet you and say hello. Before we move into our time of worship, I want to highlight a couple of quick announcements that are included in your insert. Our annual meeting is next Sunday, May 21st at 12:45. A light lunch will be served, and there are important decisions to be made. There will be votes on the budget, on proposed changes to the bylaws, and on the decision to become a sanctuary church. You'll hear a bit more on that topic later in the service. The Board of Trustees is also asking for your assistance in identifying dedicated individuals to be recognized with an Unsung Hero Award. The award is given to individuals or groups who have made exceptional but largely unrecognized contributions of time and talent. To nominate someone, contact Melissa Reichley or Jack Welch by this Monday, May 15th. Now I'd like to invite up Travis Plager, who has a few words to share about religious education, and he'll be followed by Reverend Rochelle, who has some announcements of her own to make.
Hello, my name is Travis Plager, and I have no experience in religious education. At least I didn't have any until a few years ago when someone asked me, hey, would you be interested in helping to teach the senior high class for half of the year. And I thought, I haven't volunteered lately enough, I thought anyway, for the church. Why not? Sure. And it was fantastic. I wasn't alone. There were other teachers to help, and I think I ended up learning more than I taught, but it was a wonderful experience. And then the next year, someone asked if I'd be willing to help teach the 7th grade. And I said, sure. It worked out the first time, why not again? And then someone asked, hey, would you be willing to help be on the ministry team that helps coordinate the events and helps plan religious education? And I said, sure. I had no experience in that, but I said sure. And I learned a lot, and it was rewarding. And now this year, I'm the chair for that ministry team. The Lifespan Religious Education Ministry Team. I'm chairing it this year. And this fall, I'm going to be nominated to be the new Secretary of Education, replacing Betsy DeVos. No. Not all career paths will be the same for this kind of opportunity. In all seriousness, I can tell you that we need help with religious education, and specifically, we need help for teachers, and we need help on our ministry team. It's a wonderful way to volunteer and give back. It's not difficult. It's fun. There is a commitment, but it's rewarding. And it's a way for you to be a part of the church in a way that maybe you didn't realize you could be. If you're interested, please email re@cedarlane.org. You can see me after service at the tapestry booth in the lounge. And if you want to know what that is, well, I'll be happy to tell you that after service as well. Thank you.
Travis, thank you for your leadership of the Lifespan Religious Education Ministry team this year. I think I got it. And for always being the guy who'll say, sure. So 2 brief announcements to share with you. Oftentimes we talk about food drives when it's the holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas sort of time, but really there is hunger in Montgomery County all throughout the year. And so next week, Cedar Lane is holding a food drive to benefit the Manna Food Center, and I hope that you will all bring something for it. There are some descriptions on brown paper bags that either Roger will be passing out or will be available at coffee hour with some suggestions for healthy and useful types of food. So whether you go to the grocery store to get some extra things or you look in your own cabinets for unexpired, unopened food that you're not using and can help someone else, I hope that we will all be able to bring some or even a whole bag of food to be able to share with those who need it in Montgomery County. And I'm also delighted to share, as I'm getting distracted by this super cute baby in the front row, I'm delighted to share that since I was gone the past 2 Sundays, last Sunday I was unanimously voted to be called to the UUs of Southern Delaware in Lewis, Delaware. And this time here at Cedar Lane has been fantastic, and I'm excited about both of our futures. And I'm not quite gone yet. I'm here through the end of June, and you still get me in the pulpit the last 2 Sundays in June. All right, and Norman, we're doing tag team this morning. Thank you.
I don't know if you know that as intern minister here for this first year of my 2 years, Michelle has been my mentor. So I hope this will be the first of several opportunities to thank her for that year-long, very meaningful relationship. Finally, and most important, I want to welcome everyone who is here celebrating Mother's Day. Can we have a round of applause for Mother's Day? In 2017, and at the ripe old age of 56, I am especially aware that the identity of motherhood has spread farther than it was when I was a kid making breakfast in bed for my mom. Some of you might know my partner Gary and I have a son named Isaac. A few years ago, he went through a phase where every time he perceived me as nagging him, reminding him to do his homework or do his chores, he would roll his eyes at me and say, "Okay, Mom." Unfortunately for poor Isaac, I have just a little bit of theater training, so I would put my hand to my heart, and I would choke up a little bit. And I would say, "Isaac, that is the sweetest thing you have ever said." It stopped the behavior pretty quickly. But I also made sure, and he knew, that I was speaking my truth. Because when I look back and think about my own mother, when I think about her mother, my grandmother, who was one of the great, great women, and when I think about my sister and watching her raise her two girls, I think it's true, there is no greater compliment than to be called Mom. So mindful of the gifts we receive from people all year round, people who identify as Mom, I invite you to come and worship together.
As Sally Madsen comes forward to kindle the chalice, please rise in body and/or in spirit to share in unison the words printed in your order of celebration. This is the mission of our faith, to teach the fragile art of hospitality, to revere both the critical mind and the generous heart, to prove that diversity need not mean divisiveness, and to witness to all that we must hold the whole world in our hands. Please remain as you are to join in singing hymn number 6. Thanks, Sally. Just as long as I have breath.
I would like to invite the Hellwing family to join us on the chancel. That cute baby we were just hearing about. Good morning.
Isn't she adorable?
Today is a holy day, for every day is holy when we are blessed with a life beginning. We gather during this time to recognize and dedicate new life. We gather also to celebrate the hope and wonder that is childhood. In so doing, we recognize the mystery of life as it begins its unfolding. We celebrate this mystery in word, blessing, and promise. Our gift is that of love freely given. With reverence and thanksgiving, we dedicate ourselves to the task of parenting and nurturing. Thus do we promise to love unconditionally and to strengthen the bonds of community.
All right, I have some questions now. Stephanie and Dan, in bringing this child before us this morning, do you dedicate yourselves anew and pledge to the best of your ability to guide her in the ways of truth, service, and love? If so, please say, we do. And Lori, come join us up here for a minute. Do you, the grandmother of Ember, present in witness, aunt,
It's okay.
I think it's his fault. All right, Lori, Ember's aunt. Do you, present in witness, promise your support to her and her parents so that she may grow in wisdom, compassion, and service? If so, please say, I will. And you, will the members and friends of Cedar Lane, gathered here in witness, speaking both for yourselves and especially for those who are not here with us right at the moment, promise your support to this child and her parents and family, and recognizing that it takes overlapping communities of love to help raise our children, do you herewith offer your supportive presence to this family? If so, please say, we will. We will. And now a question for the kids here today, and those young at heart, but especially our children. Do you, the children who gather here this morning, promise to welcome this child in your classrooms as she goes older? Will you protect her, play with her, talk with her, laugh with her, dance with her, and find joy with her? If so, please say, we will. Oh, come on. Say we will. There we go.
Having made these promises, let us bless this child, joining in an act of love and beauty to bless her with the elements of our common creation, elements lifted up by our ancestors, and with the glory of her distinct and beautiful name. Wow. Want to come to me?
Oh.
With earth, which is as strong as your given and developing frame, we bless you. We put this dirt in your sock. To remind you to play on the earth with joy and to walk gently upon this earth and to track dirt into the house so your parents have something to do and to be well rooted in yourself. With air, which moves and changes even as your given and developing passions, we bless you. May you always breathe the air of freedom. With fire, which illumines everything as does your given and developing mind, we bless you. May the love these first people give you simmer in your soul and grow to be compassion for all people and all living beings. With water, which flows as clear as your given and developing spirit, we bless you. May you see clearly and speak the truth. When you're afraid, may you find your deep inner currents of courage, and when life has wounded you, may you feel the tide of the eternal rise to bring you to wholeness again. And with ether, the expanding space between the galaxies, the fertile void out of which emerges all of existence, we bless you. May you be at one with the forces that shape, sustain, and reclaim all that was, is, and ever will be, the silent song at the center of the cosmos. May the force be with you. Stephanie and Dan, will you name this child?
Lake Helwing.
Ember Lake Helwing. Let us say her name together.
Ember
Lake Helwing.
Helwing.
We name you and we bless you.
Now, in the presence of all here gathered, and in the presence of love, our true end and our best means, you are named, dear Ember, and we dedicate you to the living of a good and grace-filled life. You are free to be who you are, free to grow into whom you shall become, safe in our love and care. May all those whose lives you touch be enriched by you, and may we always remember that those who come after us must inherit their world from us. Therefore, may we do our part in helping to create a kinder and more peaceful world. Amen. Blessed be. May it be so.
May it be so. Blessings and welcome. Thank you.
As the younger children join their teachers for their morning classes, we invite you to rise and greet each other.
And greetings. Now that was a high note. We gather in this sacred space of community to find strength, the spiritual, the emotional, and even physical strength to face the many challenges of our lives. In this time of reflection, we lift up those in our community who are living through significant passages, the small and extraordinary milestones of life. In this time of caring, we pause to be present to our spiritual companions and to the concerns of our own hearts. May all who gather here be held in the embrace of this community of care. We offer prayers of support to Meredith Vassell as she tends to her father, Roger Abbott, who suffered multiple strokes and is under hospice care at her home. We celebrate Anne Chernikoff and her graduation yesterday from St. Mary's College with joy undampened by the rain and mud. We send healing thoughts and prayers to Wangari Kamau's brother, Solomon, who is in intensive care after undergoing major surgery in the Netherlands. And we send healing thoughts and prayers to our UUA moderator, Jim Key, and his wife, Liz. Jim stepped down to address a serious health concern. We are grateful for his service to our association. May these friends of ours, our companions in the world, and all that lives unspoken in our hearts be held in the embrace of prayer and in the peace that the stillness of silence brings as we continue to hold in our hearts all those who are displaced from their homes by violence or disaster, those who search for refuge or sanctuary wherever they may be.
That was my fault. For our time of prayer and reflection this morning, I invite you to close your eyes and bring into your mind's eye your mother's mother, and all those before her, and the marvelous women who have nurtured you and brought you to be who you are with us here today. Spirit of life, you've been a father and mother to us all. We enter into this time of silence and reflection with mixed emotions. This is Mother's Day, a day set aside to honor, celebrate, and in some cases, simply to reflect on those women who gave us birth. Some of us come to this day with joy, with strong and tender feelings for the women who have earned the right to be called mother. They not only gave us our lives, they are responsible for shaping our spirits. They have fed us, played with us, nurtured us, listened to us. They have given unselfishly for us. They have loved us unconditionally. If our mothers are still living, we make the extra effort to stay in touch and find ways to give back a portion of the love which we have so abundantly received. If our mothers have died, we take time to cherish our memories of them, memories which may flood our eyes with bittersweet tears of longing. We miss them. We feel that loss even more acutely on this day, while also being grateful for their strength, their wisdom, and their beauty, and the gifts of life which they have passed on to us. But for others, time is not a time for celebration, but rather a time for reflection. Perhaps we cannot bring ourselves to buy that Hallmark card, the one that waxes poetically about a mother's love or her presence in our lives. Rather, we may feel her absence through death or indifference. We may have complicated, difficult, even unhappy associations with mother. Instead, may we use this time to reflect on those who have mothered us. The women in our lives who have been shown their love for us, whether through motherhood or mentoring, those tough, gentle, truth-telling, loving, wise, whimsical women who have served as our teachers, our mentors, our guides, and our friends. And on this Mothering Day, may we remember the great mother who sustains us, whose body is the very substance of our existence, the very ground we walk upon, the very source of our being. From whatever place of the Spirit we come this morning, let us once again enter into a time of silence, knowing that it is in silence where great things fashion themselves. During our time of silence, I invite those grieving a loss or commemorating the anniversary of a loss, or even feeling a loss more poignantly because of the day it is, to stand in mourning and memory. Amen, and blessed be.
Following the November election, the owners of the DC bookstore Politics and Prose launched a series of teach-ins to help prepare for what they expected might be profound changes in public policy and participation. Because I was interested in immigration justice, I went in late February to their teach-in about immigration. What I learned there had a lot to do with my decision to join Cedar Lane's Immigrant Justice Ministry team. The first speaker, a director of the Liberty and National Security Program at the Brennan Center for Justice and Liberty in New York, spoke of the need to build in the U.S. a sustainable movement against racism and xenophobia, not only because it is right, but also because failure to do so has an impact on our standing in the world. The director of the Detained Children's Program at the Capital Area Immigrant Rights Coalition described how our current immigration and detention policies make people both afraid and angry. Fear and anger lead to extremism. A civil rights attorney explained that heavy border enforcement has nothing to do with making us safer, but rather redirects resources from enforcement of laws and identifying national security threats. For me, the most important messages of the teach-in had to do with the incredible stupidity of the economic implications of anti-immigration. Since 1968, we have spent more than $306 billion on anti-immigration enforcement. That is more than we have spent in the same time on the FBI, the Secret Service, ATF, and the DEA. Approximately 400,000 undocumented immigrants are held in federal detention centers every year, though the majority of these are incarcerated only because of their illegal entries. The federal budget for immigrant detention centers in 2016 was $2.3 billion. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, and the Border Patrol refer more cases to federal courts than the entire Department of Justice. Many undocumented immigrants are taxpayers, and 30% are homeowners. In 2016, they contributed almost $12 billion to state and local coffers. Undocumented immigrants have paid more than $13 billion into the Social Security system, while costing less than $1 billion. The reputation we are gaining in the world will certainly result in reduction of tourism, possibly to an extent that will have a negative impact on our economy. The broad coalition of congregations representing 17 different faiths in the sanctuary movement in the District, Maryland, Virginia region, of which Cedar Lane is a part, supports undocumented immigrants in multiple ways. These include Know Your Rights trainings for immigrants, accompaniment of immigrants to hearings that might result in deportation, rapid response to immigrants threatened by ICE, public advocacy for immigrant rights and regulatory reform, and physical sanctuary for immigrants in danger of deportation. When we are asked at next Sunday's congregational meeting to become a sanctuary congregation, I will vote yes.
Before we begin, I would like to say a couple of words about this group here. First of all, they always seem small, and I guess that's because of parent schedules, student schedules. The older they become, the less available they become. But it seems like no matter what the size of the group, they always sing beautifully. And I am particularly grateful for those who've been with us a long time. In this case, Sarah Falsino is a senior, and she will no longer sing with this youth choir in this room. She may come back and sing in the adult choir because she's done that before and shown her expertise. I also, at this time, would like to acknowledge the wonderful work of Susan Easterly. So when we finish with this song, you can show your appreciation, however. And of course, for the rest of our group, it's been a pleasure to have them with us this year.
My friends, a reading from the New York Times. Dateline, Encino, Texas. One June afternoon, immigrants who had illegally crossed the border and were hiking through the rugged brush came upon a remote hunting cabin here. No one was inside, so they grabbed a wooden bench and bashed open the door to get in. Those are the black and white facts of what happened in Brooks County on June 16th, 2013. Like everything else on the South Texas borderland, there is more to the story. The migrants were 3 teenage girls from El Salvador. They had traveled at least 1,500 miles to come to America. They had gotten lost in the Texas brush after crossing the border and had been walking for 4 days. One of them was pregnant. They were no longer evading the Border Patrol. They were now seeking them out because the girl who was pregnant needed help. The first thing they did after breaking in was call the Border Patrol. They got the phone number from a list of emergency contacts pinned to the bulletin board by the front door. As they waited for the agents, they showered and washed their clothes. One of the girls removed the pins holding the phone list to the bulletin board. She turned over the piece of notebook paper and wrote a letter to the cabin's owner. From a foreign stranger to an American one, amid a sweeping and politically charged movement of people across the border, on a slip of torn and creased paper. It was the smallest and simplest of things, an anonymous thank you note. Sorry for entering your ranch, but it was out of necessity because we had 4 days of being lost, she wrote in Spanish, adding, sorry for destroying your door and for having used your belongings. If we had not arrived here, we would not have been able to call immigration. Thank you, and 1,000 times sorry. God bless you. From this vantage point on a South Texas ranch, immigration looks a lot different than it does on the news. The flow of men, women, and children across the border ranch lands has been just as desperate, hopeful, and horrifying as other mass migrations around the globe. The scale is smaller, but no less dramatic and no less tragic. Ryan Weatherstone, 35, the ranch foreman who looks after the Encino cabin, was driving by the lodge that day when he noticed clothes drying on the fence. He turned his truck around as the girls rushed outside. They thought he was with the Border Patrol. They were on their way to Houston, Mr. Weatherstone said. One of them was pregnant and just couldn't go any farther. They'd already used the house phone to turn themselves in. They were done. They wanted some medical attention for that one girl. Mr. Weatherstone leaves the door of the cabin unlocked now. Almost 4 years later, the dent on the door is still there, the bench is still on the patio, and the letter on the back side of the phone list is still pinned to the bulletin board.
There's no just before me, where God's redeemed every just king. I'm going there to see my mother. She said she'd meet me when I come. I'm only going over Jordan. I'm only going over home. I'll soon be free of earthly trial. My body lay beneath the sod. I'll drop this cross of self-denial, and I'll go singing home to God. I'm going there to meet my Savior, to dwell with Him and never roam. I'm only going over Jordan. I'm only going over home. I'm only going over
Thank you so much for that. I could listen to you guys sing that all day. I love this song, Wayfaring Stranger. But I debated whether it was appropriate for our service today. It's beautiful, it's haunting, it captures the sorrowful journey of a stranger on a long and lonely road. But the only hope it offers is in the next life, in the life to come. There is no sickness, no toil, nor danger in that bright land to which I go. It's not a very Unitarian Universalist notion, the idea that we wait until after death to have our hopes realized. The people of our faith are intent on building the beloved community today, here, now. We work for change. We work together to make a better world. Of course, we're far from unique in that regard. People of faith in churches, mosques, synagogues, and temples are working for justice right along with us, across this region, across the nation, around the world. And together we're making headway. We're getting there, across our own daily River Jordan. It's actually right there in our vision statement. Cedar Lane Unitarian Universalist Church is a community where love works. Together, we explore the eternal nurture community and build a more just world. Together, we dare to embody beloved community. That last phrase became a central point of yesterday's Building the Beloved Community workshop, right here, led by Reverends Rob Keithan and Rebecca Montgomery. It was a great, deep-thinking, collaborative day. I want to thank especially the folks with Mosaic Makers who put it together and everyone who participated, especially my conversation partners who helped me take some steps along my own journey. I think it was Rob who made a point of lifting up the word dare. We dare to embody beloved community. He asked why the congregation had chosen that word in particular, and there was a volley of responses from around the room, all of which can be captured in the phrase, "It takes courage." It takes courage. It takes courage to embody beloved community rather than talk about it. To embody beloved community rather than merely be a participant, one participant in it. It means to stretch beyond ourselves or to bring into ourselves those whom we don't relate to, those whom we don't understand or look like or talk like or like. Not coincidentally, our theme this month is embodiment. But what does it mean to embody something? In seminary, I read a textbook about pastoral care and counseling that said our physical presence, our posture, our demeanor, our expression should embody our theology. What? I had to think about that. I had to play with it a little bit. So I guess when I enter a hospital room or the home of someone in need, my body should reflect my theology, my beliefs, my values. There's one sort of obvious way that you could embody your theology. I'll show you. If you put your hands together, kind of elbows in, head bowed, you could do it with me, yeah. That's a theology. When I see it, when I observe it in someone or do it myself, it feels very intimate. It feels like an intimate theology. I'm one-on-one with the divine. So I wonder if you would dare, if you would have the courage to rise as you are able and join me in some embodiment of theology. Thank you. So let's start where we were. Let's start hands together in a prayerful attitude. And then let's go to something really different. So left hand as a fist. Right hand pointing at somebody, someone in front of you. Imagine yourself in a pulpit. My family attended a church where this was the theology. We lasted about 3 weeks. And let's go back to let's stay there. Maybe it's not such a bad thing to be in the pulpit like this. No, kidding. We're here. Now open this hand, bring it to your heart. Relax this hand, some of you are ahead of me, and open it this way. Maybe relax your feet a little bit, spread your legs, and reach forward towards that hand. What does that theology feel like? Louder. Grace, openness, reaching out, embracing, welcoming, accepting, asking for help, yeah. Not just helping other people, asking ourselves, sharing. Now let's go to another really obvious, perhaps, theology. Feet together, hands out, palms facing. This one's pretty familiar, right? 2,000 years, this has been the embodiment of a theology. Now let's alter that a little bit. Let's open again a little bit. Relax the arms, let them curve. Maybe reach forward a little bit. Again, what does this feel like? What theology does this feel like? Embracing, welcoming, comforting. This open, holistic. What was that, Henry? Pulling in. What's that? Gathering, nice. These feel like the words that describe Unitarian Universalism to me. They also feel kind of like motherhood to me. Now, imagine coming towards you. You're still here. Imagine coming towards you, the wayfaring stranger. Walking towards you is a person who is lost, who doesn't know what's going to happen next. Bring them into that embrace. Hold them there. Now the really hard part. I want you to become that wayfaring stranger. That might look different for different people. People here this morning might feel they are the wayfaring stranger. For me, I imagine losing a sense of confidence because I'm no longer in that privileged place of giving. I'm now in a place of asking, of receiving. I'm going to be a little bit smaller. Depending on my circumstances, I might try to be invisible. I might roll my shoulders forward, try not to be detected. I might be anxious. I might be tight. Be your own wayfaring stranger here for a moment. Embody the stranger. And then take a seat. Thank you for sharing that with me. Our chalice lighting mentioned the fragile art of hospitality. I think that's what we've given shape to this morning together. You have embodied both host and guest, which is true to the ancient meaning of the word hospitality. It goes back to the Latin hospice, which can mean host or guest, or indeed stranger. It's a term that encompasses both the giver and the receiver, and the expectation is that blessings are going in both directions. A Hindu teaching tells us to be one for whom the mother is God, be one for whom the father is God, be one for whom the teacher is God, be one for whom the guest is God. In Islam, hospitality is seen as a triangle, a trinity, if you will, between the guest, the host, and God. There's also a welcome practical side in Islam. The Prophet teaches it is not lawful for a guest to stay with his host for such a long period as to put him in a critical position. The Hebrew Bible is full of strangers who turn out to be angels or God in disguise. And in the New Testament, there's the Good Samaritan, who as a Samaritan is himself marginalized, even despised by the people of Judah, the people of the land that he is traveling through. He begins the story as the stranger, but he is transformed as he moves into that story. The whole thing is prompted by a lawyer's question. The lawyer knows from reading Leviticus that he should love his neighbor as himself. Being a lawyer, he needs some specifics. So he asks Jesus, define neighbor. As usual, Jesus does not answer the question, but he tells a story. A man was going down from Jerusalem to Jericho, he says, and fell into the hands of robbers who stripped him, beat him, and went away, leaving him half dead. Now, by chance, a priest was going down that road, and when he saw him, he passed by on the other side. So likewise, a Levite, when he came to the place and saw him, passed by on the other side. But a Samaritan, while traveling, came near him, and when he saw him, he was moved with pity. He went to him and bandaged his wounds, having poured oil and wine on them. Then he put him on his own animal, brought him to an inn, and took care of him. The next day he took out 2 denarii, gave them to the innkeeper, and said, take care of him, and when I come back, I will repay you whatever more you spend. Jesus turns to the lawyer and asks, which of these 3 do you think was a neighbor to the man who fell into the hands of robbers? The lawyer replies, the one who showed him mercy. And Jesus says, go and do likewise. Go and do likewise. Kind of like leaving the door unlocked on an old hunting cabin on the South Texas border. Kind of like, gathering a group of people together, privileged, well-shoed, and sending them on a trek into the Sonoran Desert to leave jugs of water along the Immigrant Trail between Arizona and Mexico. Something a group of us did last October, and a new group will do again in the fall. Kind of like welcoming 16 refugee families and their friends into this very room a week ago and sharing music, merriment, and profound, far-reaching conversation. Kind of like providing sanctuary to someone in need. Together we explore the eternal, nurture community, and build a more just world. Together we dare to embody beloved community. That means embodying, encompassing the stranger, the guest, the wayfarer seeking solace and safety. When I attempt to embody the immigrant who might come to us in search of sanctuary, my mind, my spirit, I suppose, is crowded with 100 possibilities, 100 variables on what that person's story might be, what they might need, what they might ask of us. But when I stop and breathe and try to be inside the story, to embody the story as best I can, I find just one essential element: time. The stranger who would come to us seeking sanctuary would be a person under the immediate threat of deportation. We can offer them the gift of time. Time to appeal that decision, time to meet with lawyers, time to sign documents that will keep their documented children safe with family and friends. Time to take a breath. What a gift we have to give. But hospitality, not a one-way street. Host and guest give, host and guest receive. What riches might be ours when we open our doors, when we embody our theology and open our arms to the wayfaring stranger? How might we be transformed when we say, we don't know what happens after this life. We don't know what lies beyond the Jordan. But here today, we hope that you'll join us, that you, the stranger, will aid us as we dare to embody beloved community. Dear God, may it be so. Amen.
During our chalice lighting, we spoke together about the fragile art of hospitality. Now we come to the offering, an essential part of that fragile art. For even as we give, we receive. Even as we gather here in close community, we open ourselves to those who are newly arrived. Together, we make the fragile art of hospitality possible. The offering will now be given and gratefully received. Go, Johann Sebastian, go. During our chalice, for the gifts we have given, and for the gifts that we are, and for the music that we receive, Jasmine, thank you. We offer gratitude for the contributions to the work of this ministry, and we bow to the spirit of generosity and faith that make courage and compassion the cornerstones of Cedar Lane Unitarian Universalist Church. Please rise in body and or in spirit to sing hymn number 131, Love Will Guide Us.
Spirit of life and of love, God of many names, God beyond naming, we leave this place in gratitude for all the gifts that we have to offer and all the gifts that we open ourselves to receive, for all that we have to teach and for all that we have to learn. We leave this place in gratitude for the spirit of motherhood that runs through it, nurtures it, and lifts it up. We leave this place in peace so that we might return in joy and do good work in the days between. Amen. Please be seated to enjoy the postlude.